Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode we're going to be doing a little bit of a reading vlog. I'm going to be starting this new series called Booked and Busy because I am a full-time college student and I don't have a lot of time outside of school, but I make time to read on my Kindle, and I have been obsessively, and I mean obsessively, reading on my Kindle. I'm currently on, I want to say like a 68-day streak of reading on my Kindle. I've literally been reading it since I got it for Amazon Prime Day, and I have not stopped reading since. I think I've read 15 books in the last 68 days. I'll have to double check that. I'll put the updated stats right here. But anyways, I thought I'd start this little book series called Booked and Busy because I am extremely busy, but I love reading books and I'd love to share the books that I read with you guys. And pretty much in this series I'll be going through the books that I am currently reading and give my honest thoughts and opinions. And I like to read a lot of romance books, so if it's a romance book I'll definitely be giving it a little spice meter. Yeah, I'll be doing a little spice meter on how I rate the spice in the book. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it from me, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below so you get notified every time I upload and post to this channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Since this is my first reading vlog, I should pretty much show you guys my Kindle. I have a bunch of Piplup stickers on it. This one says Piplup forgot, and Piplup's like face planting. And then there's a little Piplup in a jar, and then a little reading Piplup, and then my little pop socket for it. And this is magnetic, so I can take it off, and then I can put my Kindle on my, I have a little like tablet holder, so when I'm reading in bed I read on my tablet holder. So I'm going to be starting this series called Until I Get You. It's a hockey romance by Claire Contreras. I can't roll my R's. It's apparently a book talk book, which I'm gonna agree with because I found it off Book Talk.
I found it off her page. She like posted like a page out of the book, and I was like, oh, that looks good.
I want to be reading these two books, and then after that I'll scroll through Pinterest and find my next book. But yeah, this one's called Until I Get You. The description is pretty much, 3 years ago she ruined my life, now I'm gonna return the favor. My reputation at Fairview University preceded me. I was the projected #1 pick in the NHL draft and the fan favorite at the rink. People wanted to be me or be with me. Except for Lila James Marichal? Okay. She didn't look at me like I was her next meal. She eyed me with disdain. Instead of vying for my attention, she ignored me and pushed me away. She was completely unattainable and I became obsessed with her. Ooh. When I finally got her, it felt like I was on top of the world. I was going to help the team with another championship going into the draft and had Lila by my side. And then without warning, she left me. Vanished. It took me 3 bitter, angry, long years to find her, but I did, and now she owes me a lot more than just an explanation. 3 years ago, she ruined my life. Now I was going to become her worst nightmare. This looks good. And then it has a bunch of tropes. So it has hockey romance, college new adult romance, obsessed possessive hero, boy falls first, boy obsessed, and then there are some dark themes in the book. So you already know it's gonna be good. So we're gonna get into this a little bit later. I got some homework to do first, and then I will start reading this one. But ooh, just reading the little description of this first book, say no more. Say no more. So we're gonna get into this in a little bit, and then I'll give my little, like, I want to say I do a 10% update, and I'll just check in when we're around 10%. So yeah. So we are about 10% into the book, and so far there has been a lot going on. So we meet our two main characters, Lila and Lachlin, but they also call him Latch. And it seems like she has some trauma that we're gonna have to unpack. and he doesn't understand why he's drawn to her and like obsessed with her. So that's kind of the things that are going on right now. She is very emotionally detached and she doesn't want to let anybody in, assumingly because she doesn't want to get hurt due to her trauma. But he's very cocky, and you can definitely tell that with how he talks about a lot of things. It seems like the girls always just like throw themselves at him, but for some reason Lila's not throwing herself at him, and he doesn't like that. So that's kind of what's going on right now. He seems to do a lot of hookups, but he's kind of refraining. He doesn't really know what to do in this situation with her because he's never been like attracted or like drawn to anybody. So we're gonna like kind of see how this dynamic plays out, because he is very, very possessive, and you can tell that already, and it's only been 4 chapters. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I'll update probably closer to like 50% of the book. I think we need to let things play out before I update. But yeah, I'll be back with another update in a little bit. Good morning. It's Tuesday, and I was reading a little bit more last night after I did my little 10% update. So now we're around 25% of the book, and it is starting to get a little more intense. I feel like the characters are getting to know each other a little bit better. I feel like his tendencies are coming out a lot more. He's being a little bit more verbal about being possessive over her and not wanting her to be with anybody else. And she's finally opening up just a little bit about her situation. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I feel like she's definitely got a lot going on, and she doesn't want him to get caught in the crossfire. So that's currently where we're at. It's getting good. There was a lot to read last night, and I didn't expect there to be a lot happening between the 10 and the 25% that I'm at right now, but a lot happened. And I feel like this book is not very like slow, but it's like there's a lot going on, and you gotta like take your time with it. And I feel like there could be a lot that goes wrong and a lot that goes right. I'm just kind of interested to see like how much goes wrong before it goes right, if that's my prediction. I'm not gonna say anything about what exactly their relationship is at, but I just feel like it's gonna be a little bit of a slow burn maybe. So yeah, that's my little 25% update. I'll check in a little bit. Okay, so I've been reading, and I just finished chapter 19. Stuff is happening. It's scary. It's going good relationship-wise for them, but chapter 19 just ended really interestingly, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but like now I'm kind of scared. I think this is when it starts picking up. Yeah, I think this is when it starts picking up, because what the heck? Anyways, what the heck just happened in chapter 20? Oh. That was intense. I have no words. That was, yeah, it escalated, and I think things are going to start moving from here. Yeah. So we're 50% of the way through the book now. I just finished chapter 31, and I'm just gonna say that the flip from part 1 of the book to part 2 was like dramatic. Like, we're looking at her and she's doing okay in part 2, considering everything that happened. But Lachlan is having a lot more difficulty, and you can see like his character is totally like flipped. Like, he used to be like a little obsessive, like it was pretty mellow in part 1. Part 2 is completely different. Like, he is borderline psycho, and you can totally like tell the difference between like his chapters and her chapters, because like his, like, you'll read them and it'll kind of seem like he's just angry and like speaking very quickly, like when you're angry and your thoughts are just going and going and going. Like, that's how it feels to read his chapters, which I kind of love. Her chapters are kind of mellow, but you can tell like she has a lot of like thoughts running around in her head, and she just doesn't know how to process them, because like everything that has happened is just kind of crazy. So we're halfway through. So far it's been pretty good. But yeah, we're gonna keep reading. That's my little 50% update. So today's Friday, and I wasn't able to update yesterday because I was reading on the train, and then I got to work, and then I got home really late. So I finished the book, and honestly, I enjoyed it, and it was like, there was a lot of ups and downs, and it definitely did make me cry at some points. Overall, the plot was really good, and it definitely did touch on like what the little description said about the book, because I was like reading it in the beginning and I was like, I don't really understand how this relates to like the description of the book. I really thought I was reading a different book, but then it like started to make sense. Like, this is like all prefacing like what their relationship was like and then what happened, and pretty much it was intense. It was like a whole roller coaster of emotions reading it. It was a good ending. I really enjoyed it. So if I had to rate this book, I'd say it would be, on a scale from 1 to 5 stars, I'd say it would be a 3.75. I think it was a pretty good book. I definitely really enjoyed it. It was such a good read, and I know it took me longer to read than my other books, but like, I got really invested with the characters, and I felt like that they were like really real characters, and like the struggles that they went through and the ways that they like acted and the ways that they went about things was like pretty realistic. So yeah, I would rate it a 3.75, but for the spice level, I'd say it was a 3.5, because my 5 would probably be, from the books that I've read, would be a Haunting Adeline kind of story, and then my like mellower side would probably be Icebreaker, so it kind of falls in between those two. Okay, so I know that I said I was gonna pick a book from Pinterest, but since I've been scrolling on TikTok so much, I see a lot of books in my feed, and this one I came across when I was scrolling my For You page, so I think I'm gonna read this one next. It's called The Pawn and the Puppet by Brandy Elise Skeezer. It's a very short book. It's only 347 pages, so I think I can read this one within 1 to 2 days. And the description is pretty much: the Emerald Lake Asylum is not a place most desired to go. 19-year-old Skylina, however, made a promise that she must keep. Once hired, she had one purpose: prove to the council that barbaric treatments such as waterboarding, scalding baths, and beatings are no longer the answer. But that all takes pause when she meets the source of terror in the asylum. A patient with a split personality. On one side, he's a bloodthirsty genius, Dessen. On the other, a hidden persona that is buried deep in his subconscious. When Dessen is caught in an attempted cell break, he faces execution if Skylene can't bring out his core personality and reveal his humanity. She has 90 days to save his life, and the only way to do that is to let him consume her into his world of moves, counter moves, and master puppeteering. With each passing day, their bond deepens, a forbidden attraction forming against her best judgments. Little by little, Skylina uncovers the sinister secrets of his past that turn him into the monster everyone else fears, and Dessen proves to have one weakness despite the terrifying, indestructible persona he presents to the world: her. There is a disclaimer, and there are a handful of triggers. But yeah, so this is book 1, and it looks like it is a 4-book series. So yeah, I found this one on my TikTok For You page, so this is the one that we're going to be reading next. So yeah, I'll update at our 50% update, and then I'll probably do final thoughts unless something else comes up. So yeah. Okay, so I have officially finished The Pawn and the Puppet. I finished it this morning on my way to school. My initial thoughts were like, no way this is gonna end right now, because it doesn't feel like anything really happened, anything important or anything like that. Like, a lot progressed, but I feel like this is all just prefacing what will happen in the next book, because I know there's a second book. I feel like it's really hard to talk about it because there's not a lot to go off of. Like, we do find out her backstory and his backstory, but I feel like it's not enough, and it was just a lot of world building. The spice level on this one is very, very mellow. There was like no spice at all. Yeah, there's really no spice. He doesn't really do anything. There's absolutely no spice. You can tell there's tension, but there's not like anything crazy going on. Obviously no certain scenes. So the spice level, I'm gonna have to rate it like a 0.25 for the tension, but that's about it. Okay, we're gonna be starting a new book, and it is called The Boyfriend, which is a psychological thriller by Frida McFadden. And the description pretty much says, she's looking for the perfect man, he's looking for the perfect victim. Sydney Shaw, like every single woman in New York, has terrible luck with dating. She's seen it all: men who lie in their dating profile, men who stick her with the dinner bill, and worst of all, men who can't shut up about their mothers. But finally, she hits the jackpot. Her new boyfriend is utterly perfect. He's charming, handsome, and works as a doctor at a local hospital. Sydney is swept off her feet. Then the brutal murder of a young woman, the latest in a string of deaths across the coast, confounds police. The primary suspect? A mystery man who dates his victims before he kills them. Sydney should feel safe. After all, she is dating the guy of her dreams. But she can't shake her own suspicions that the perfect man may not be as perfect as he seems, because someone is watching her every move, and if she doesn't get to the truth, she'll be the killer's next victim. So yeah, that's the book description. But yeah, other than that, I will update around 50% unless something else comes up. So I'm gonna get started on this one. I've literally only read the prologue, and the last sentence of the prologue is insane. So, yeah, no words. I have no words. That's insane. So now we're getting into the present day, because that was like a flashback. Yeah, it was before versus present. That's crazy. Anyways, we're only a couple minutes into the book. We're literally, we're 2% into the book, and I've already had that reaction. So, let's keep reading. Okay, chapter 1 is from her perspective. She's actually really funny from what I can see right now. And she's on a date with a guy that she met from a dating app. And he's actually catfished her. And he's like, well, you're perfect. And then he's like, well, except your arms are kind of fat. And I was like, anyways, that... yeah, I could tell I'm going to enjoy this book. But, yeah, that's... I thought that was funny. So I'm at 52%, which is pretty much halfway of the book. Pretty much the update as of right now. I'm really enjoying the switching point of views because we see her point of view, Sydney's point of view, but we also see Tom's point of view, but it's kind of like a flashback. It's from before, like when he was younger. But I really enjoy it. It's really nice to see both sides. We're getting a lot of Tom's backstory, so you can kind of tell what's going on when he bumps into Sydney in the big city. But yeah, I really am enjoying Sydney's character. She's pretty normal. She's kind of relatable in that sense. She's not like odd or anything like that. Like, you can kind of relate to her emotions, especially with everything going on right now. And for Tom, you can kind of tell a lot of what sparked his habits. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, that's pretty much my update for halfway through. I'm gonna continue reading, and I'll see you guys when I am closer to the end of the book. Okay, so I finished the book last night, and I'm gonna be so honest, I did not expect the ending. It was a major plot twist that I just didn't see coming. I really thought it was gonna be him. I'm not gonna say a lot just because I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I did not expect the plot twist. After 50%, the book kind of just started going really quickly. It felt like everything just progressively snowballed really, really fast, but I really enjoyed the pace of this book. I liked the writing style, the switching point of views, but when it was his point of view, it was before his backstory of everything that happened leading up to this. And so we're seeing the present through Sydney's point of view, but we're seeing the past through Tom's point of view, which is actually really interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. If I were to rate it, I would say it is probably a 2.75 or a 3, just because it is a thriller, but it wasn't necessarily like, I don't know, I didn't feel as immersed into this book as I have been for others. That plus it just, not a lot happened for me. I feel like it just wasn't what I normally look for in a book, so that's why I'm rating it so low. But that's probably just because it's a thriller book and not necessarily a romance. The spice level in this book is really, really non-existent. I thought I was going to be getting more spice, but I didn't actually get very much. It was really mellow. So if I were to rate it, I would probably say it was at a 0.25. There was absolutely no spicy scenes. Absolutely none. It like alluded to it, but I think that's just how most books would do it. Everything outside of the romance category, at least. It would pretty much say, like, it would start and then there's no details, there's nothing, chapter ends. And you're like, what? For me, reading a lot of romance books, I feel like I was expecting more from that, so that's why I rated it so low. But yeah, overall, the book wasn't bad. It's definitely not something I normally read, but I'm trying to get more into thrillers and the horror genre, so yeah. And with that ends this reading vlog. Thank you guys so much for coming along. This is the first episode of Booked and Busy, so stay tuned for more episodes. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe so you get more notifications when I post. I'm going to be trying to make this a consistent series throughout this year since it is now 2025. I really do want to continue with this. My reading goal for this year is 52 books, meaning I do want to read at least one book a week. So we're going to see if I can complete that and maintain that for the rest of the year. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.